What's up, Frugal founders? Jeremy here. Today's episode, we're doing our very first business breakdown of this series. Here's how it works. Side hustlers, entrepreneurs submit their companies, and I offer marketing advice based on my own experience in an effort to help them build brand awareness and increase customer acquisition. So let's get into our very first submission right now. The very first submission comes from Rachel Yu. Rachel writes in, her company sells soy protein, collagen casing, and also sources poultry, pork, beef to export. Her products can be used for sausage, ham, nutrition bars, ketchup, drinks, etc. And she's also finding it very difficult to find, or rather get in touch with the right person at the companies that she sells to. And a lot of times they're kind of resistant to trying new things, which is pretty common when people have products or services that they like. Even if they don't like those things, if they have something in place that gets the job done, it's gonna be hard to get them to try something else or something new. Now, from a marketing perspective, it sounds like Rachel's company has two products that could be used in different ways, which means there's going to be all types of different buyers. So, for example, the soy protein, one buyer might be health and wellness manufacturing companies. The casings, maybe a food distributor or food manufacturing company might want those products for themselves. When you have a company that has different types of buyers, this is when you need to take a step back and look at your own data. So look back at the customers that did buy from you. Now do a breakdown. What industries are they in? What is the job titles that they had when they did buy? You might have been talking with the VP of operations or the VP of something else, or maybe just a plant operations manager. That's what's going to help you. Essentially learning from the past. So looking at your past data can help you or inform you on what to do going forward. Now, what if you don't have customer data? What if you have a side hustle that you're just getting off the ground and you don't have customers? How then do you reach the right people? Now, two things. So you can look at data that's already out there. Maybe a company released information, or maybe it's a company like Forrester or Gartner that released some research that you can use to inform you. Or you just take educated guesses. And a lot of times the educated guess is the right path to go down, is to simply think about who it is that you want to be buying your product or service. And then who is that person? Is it the VP of sales? Is it some other job title? What type of company do you want to typically buy your product or service? And then from there, it's about going and cold emailing, cold selling, all those things. And then from there, you just fine tune. You just take a step back, and then after maybe a month or so, and say, okay, are the people that I'm reaching out to actually buying from me? If the answer is no, you might want to take a look at your personas. You might be reaching out to the wrong person. So that's where you start. The next step is to look at the trends that are happening. So before I did this video, I did a Google Trends search for protein powder. And this is from 2014 to present. And I'll show you what the graph looks like. But the interest over time since 2008 has exploded. And I mean exploded. And that makes sense. There's a whole new generation of young adults and just people in general that really are starting to care about their health and fitness. So they're trying to eat better. They're becoming vegan or vegetarian. All those things. And so protein powders, protein bars, protein drinks are extremely big right now. So now for Rachel's company, that's a good opportunity to think, okay, should we, instead of selling our soy protein to all types of manufacturers, or at least trying to, should we hone in on the health and wellness industry because of this upward trend of protein use? And that's a really interesting question to ask and answer, because that could change the trajectory of this business. So instead of casting your net super wide and trying to sell soy protein to all types of different manufacturers, maybe you narrow, maybe you throw out a smaller net and you only go after health and wellness manufacturers. And from there, that makes your job easier because now it's like, okay, now who typically would buy or be interested in having a conversation about soy protein? It might be the operations manager. It might be a VP of operations or something along those lines. And then so you just start really digging into that persona and trying to unpack that. So think about their pain points. What do they listen to? What do they read? What do they watch? What are their goals? Once you know the typical buyer, then you can start reaching out to them via things like LinkedIn or Twitter and start connecting with them one-on-one, right? So now you're playing the long game. This isn't the short game where it's just, cold email or cold call and, sign, seal, and deliver. This is a long game, building relationships. But if you knew exactly who it is that you're selling to, or you should be selling to, and you have an industry that you want to focus on, it makes that job so much easier. So, as a recap for Rachel in this situation, what I would do is, A, take a step back, look at past customer data, which industries typically buy from you, and of those industries, what's the common job title or the common role of the person that's buying from you, right? That information is going to be super valuable for you going forward. Number 2, really dig into those personas, unpack those personas, add some context to it, right? So try to really dig into their likes or dislikes, their goals or ambitions, all those things. From a marketing perspective, that's one thing that we do a lot of is persona work because that helps us with our messaging, helps us with website copy. For advertising, especially on things like LinkedIn and Twitter, it allows us to really hone in on those personas that we know would probably likely buy from us. And it just increases our chance of connecting with the right individual and, of course, our sales team doing what they do best, selling and closing deals. But it all starts with understanding the people or companies or industries that buy from you. And then from there, it's all about using things like social media to connect with these individuals, right? Again, the long game. And I know in business, we all want return, right? But there's something to be said about playing the long game and building these relationships. And now the world is smaller than ever because of things like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. You can connect with anybody around the world. So if you know who it is that typically buys from you, you know what type of industry they're in, you can find them on LinkedIn. All you would need to do is take the company, for example, let's say DuPont, right? Go to LinkedIn, type in DuPont, go to their employees, and if you already know who typically buys from you, let's say it's a VP of operations, you can find the VP of operation at DuPont, or maybe there's multiple VPs, and connect with them, right? Send them a message. Hey, I have this new soy protein that I would really love to show you. Do you have 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to jump on a call and I can share more with you? You're going to have more success that way than to have this wide net where you're going after everybody. So really focus in on the industries, the personas that buy from you, and then use that information to dictate what you do going forward. Your strategy, your tactics, advertising, all these other tactics that you deploy, use that information to help guide you in the right direction. So there you have it. Hopefully that helped, and hopefully you got something out of it. As a quick recap, whether you have multiple personas that you're selling to or just one persona, it always pays to really, really understand who it is that you're selling to, right? You want to focus in on narrowing your scope in terms of who it is that you sell to. So if you do have a product or service that can be used by multiple personas, if you want to help yourself, don't go after all those personas. Find the personas that have more of a likelihood of buying from you and go after them because you're going to have a higher chance of closing business. And then, of course, connect with those individuals across social media, build those relationships, and treat it as a long-term relationship, and you will see more success. So until next time, thank you so much for watching this business breakdown. We'll see you on the next episode.